Today's news highlights 20250728. Date July 28, 2025. Republic of China July 28, 114. Time cutoff, 1500 hours on the same day. News focus. The US President announced on the 27th that he had reached a trade agreement with the European Union, and most EU goods exported to the United States would be subject to a 15% tariff, which was lower than the original threat of 30%. In exchange, the EU pledged $750 billion in US energy products and an additional $600 billion in investment in arms purchases. The agreement covers drugs and chips, and metals adopt a quota system. Although the European side originally hoped to achieve zero tariffs, van der Leyen said this was the best result. This agreement is the first to involve semiconductor tariffs, and the uncertainty of the US-EU trade negotiations has come to an end. News focus. Global investors will usher in a critical 48 hours this week. The Federal Reserve will announce its interest rate decision on July 31st, and the market is expected to remain on hold, with the market focusing on inflation data and non-farm payrolls reports to assess whether to restart interest rate cuts. Trump's tariff policy has also entered a critical juncture, with the United States imposing a 50% tariff on copper on August 1st, and the National Security Investigation report on semiconductors and drugs may be released. Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple will release earnings reports, and investors will focus on AI development, capital expenditure, and cloud performance momentum, adding variables to the market. News focus. The United States is about to announce the reciprocal tariff rate on Taiwan. Although the government strives not to be higher than Japan and South Korea, Japan has received a low tax rate of 15%, which has increased the pressure on Taiwan-US negotiations. The political yuan has prepared 93 billion yuan to support industries, covering financing, upgrading and transformation, and salary subsidies, etc., to stabilize the job market. Machine tools, auto parts, and electronic foundries are on high alert, and some companies have increased investment in the United States to diversify production capacity to reduce the impact. The Agriculture and Labor Departments have also launched response measures to stabilize agricultural exports and employment. The exchange rate of the new Taiwan dollar has also become the focus of attention, and the industry has called for it not to be used as a bargaining chip. News focus. The first wave of anti-communist recall votes was unsuccessful, sparking discussions from all walks of life. Scholars believe that the anti-communist discourse should be more detailed, and all non-DPP legislators should not be reduced to pro-communist, and anti-communism and anti-Chinese should be distinguished. Political scientist Chu Xiai pointed out that the younger generation has a weak feeling about anti-communist issues, and public sentiment has not kept up with the government's preparation for war. It was also mentioned in the discussion that if anti-communism is reduced to a slogan, it will make the people lose motivation and confidence. Experts reminded that the CCP's attitude towards Taiwan still depends on the interaction between the United States and China, and the United States currently clearly supports Taiwan's resistance to the Communist Party. News focus. The United States is about to announce reciprocal tariffs on Taiwan, and the auto industry is of great concern. The industry is worried that tariffs are only for American brands and American-made car models, excluding European and Japanese automakers from free riding, which may exacerbate the pressure on domestic cars. In the first half of this year, the production of domestic automobiles and parts industry decreased by 9.13% year-on-year, and the auto market has been sluggish. Japan's almost full opening to the US market has made Taiwan-US negotiations more challenging. Even if the tax is reduced, if there is a double limit, it will still have a great impact on Taiwanese car manufacturers, and the industry is paying close attention to the final tax rate and applicable conditions. News focus. Zhang Xin, a food and nutrition expert, pointed out that raw eggs, soft-boiled eggs, and fully cooked eggs have the same nutrients, but the absorption rate of fully cooked eggs is different, and the absorption rate of fully cooked eggs is 90%, which is better than 70 to 80% of soft-boiled eggs and 50% of raw eggs. In addition, the thickness of the eggshell has nothing to do with nutrition, but is mainly affected by the breed, season, age of the chicken and calcium intake, so there is no need to pay too much attention to the thickness of the eggshell when buying eggs. News focus. Many people control calories when losing weight, but the effect is not good, and doctors point out that the key is when to eat. Xiao Zhijian, a physician at Sansu Oriole Clinic, said that missing breakfast may reduce metabolism, accumulate fat, disrupt the circadian clock, and increase the risk of insulin resistance. Studies have shown that eating with physiological rhythms, such as activating metabolic mechanisms in the morning, has a better weight loss effect. Even if you are doing intermittent fasting, choosing the right eating window can get twice the result with half the effort, reduce fat and protect your health. News focus. The border conflict between Thailand and Cambodia has entered its third day, killing at least 32 people and fleeing nearly 200,000 people, the worst in 13 years. The two sides pointed out that the other opened fire first, and the dispute was mainly because the territory of the religious site was not demarcated. After US President Donald Trump intervened to mediate, the two sides have agreed to launch immediate ceasefire negotiations. Trump said that if the war continues, the United States will terminate negotiations on a trade agreement between the two countries. Thailand and Cambodia have expressed their support for peace and shown sincerity in the ceasefire, and the conflict has shown signs of easing for the time being. News focus on July 26. It was rumored on the internet that the abbot of Shaolin Temple, Shi Yongzhen, was taken away for investigation, and on the 27th, Shaolin Temple confirmed that he was suspected of criminal offenses, including embezzlement of funds, violation of precepts and having illegitimate children with multiple women. Shi Yongzhen, who has led the commercialization of Shaolin Temple for many years and is known as the CEO in the cassock wearing a cassock, has been reported as early as 2015, although he was not convicted at the time, and the rumors are still ongoing. The investigation was jointly conducted by multiple departments in Henan, and the news caused shocks from all walks of life. Shi Yongzhen's social account was suspended, and the temple responded in a low-key manner, and the whole incident is still developing. News focus: US President Trump changed his stance, actively promoted cryptocurrencies and stablecoins, and held the first currency summit at the White House, seeing stablecoins as a new weapon for dollar hegemony. At the same time, China has accelerated the internationalization of the digital yuan, ECNY, and used Hong Kong to issue offshore stablecoins to break through capital control restrictions. The United States and China are wrestling in financial technology in the field of digital currency, competing for international clearing and trading standards, setting off a silent new Cold War of currency, which will profoundly affect the future global financial order. News focus: due to the central bank's seventh wave of credit controls in September last year, the mortgage fund tightening led to a halving of transaction volume, and the transfer of buildings in the six capitals fell by nearly 27% in several years, and many real estate agents changed careers or drove taxis. The decline in mortgage ratio and rising interest rates have increased the burden on buyers of pre-sale houses, and the industry is worried that defaults and terminations are coming. Although the number of real estate brokerage stores has increased slightly, competition is fierce and performance is declining, and it is estimated that 1 to 30% of stores may close down in the future. Experts call on the government to relax regulations to reduce the pressure on the housing market and industry, and avoid accelerating industrial migration and economic shocks. News focus: Taiwan has become the hardest hit area of fraud, and fraud groups are mostly located in Cambodia, Myanmar, and other places, forming a transnational fraud park. Meta has been fined twice for failing to disclose advertiser information and has actively strengthened its platform defenses by implementing real-name advertiser systems and AI identification technology. The emerging platform Threads has also become a hotbed of fraud, with fake information spreading rapidly along with political issues. The government, Meta, and civil society organizations have cooperated to establish multiple lines of defense, strengthen platform monitoring and anti-fraud education for all, try to break the chain of fraud, and take action to crack down on cross-border fraud groups. News focus: 37-year-old actor Lin Boong has attracted much attention due to his family's stock market investment dispute, and his second uncle and fourth uncle accused his father of owing 20 million yuan and not paying it back. When attending the brand event on the 18th, he responded humorously and showed dedication, recording short videos and interviews many times during the event. Lin Boong hired Terry Go's royal bodyguard to strengthen security this time, and fans were blocked from queuing up for autographs. After the event, he went straight to the recording studio for dubbing work, and was busy until late at night without leaving, showing a hard-working attitude. The agent said that the details of the dubbing were inconvenient to disclose. News focus: Zhongtian anchor Zhang Yujin and her husband Xiao Gang have been married for 3 years, and recently announced the good news of pregnancy without warning. She revealed that the couple went through 3 troughs of IVF failure, and thanked the professional support of Su Minji, the Dean of Huayu Obstetrics and Gynecology, and finally ushered in the precious gift of life. Zhang Yujin said that this is a blessing from God and encourages couples who are trying to conceive to maintain faith and hope, and share joy and gratitude. News focus: Hualien coffee shop Sabi Sabi Coffee Sweets due to the failure to remove Kuomintang legislator Fu Kunkai, announcing that she would close her business from July 27 and leave Hualien. The proprietress lamented that Hualien's blind voting for many years had caused economic tourism to be damaged. The vote result agreed that the recall vote was below the threshold, and the store expressed its gratitude and said that being a Taiwanese is very hard, but the household registration is still in Hualien, and the future of the hometown continues to be concerned. The store was attacked by netizens, and the proprietress said that she would indeed leave, crying emotionally. She said, "Frankly, 8 years ago, although I have cancer, I am now fearless and will continue to work hard to bring change to Hualien." News focus today, 28th, affected by the low pressure zone and southwesterly winds, there was short-term heavy rainfall in the central and southern regions, and Chi County and City issued heavy rain and thunderstorm warnings, flooding many places. The water level of Pusalonga was overflowing, and the water in rice fields and roads exceeded half a tire height, and serious flooding was also reported in Liujiao, Mingxiang, and Dongxi, and residents should be especially careful when going out. The people of Chi lamented that the roof had not yet been repaired, and the rain was coming, as if the roof was leaking overnight. Traffic on relevant road sections is blocked, and drivers are reminded to slow down and drive slowly to avoid splashing water that affects the safety of others. News focused S passed away in Japan in early February this year, and her husband Gu Junyi still often goes to Jinbasehan Cemetery to accompany his deceased wife. A driver witnessed Gu Junyi sitting in the center of the cemetery, bringing his own chair and sitting quietly to offer flowers, with a sad expression that made people feel distressed. The driver said that Gu Junyi's affection was touching, and it was unimaginable that he lost his beloved, and called on those who went not to disturb his quiet company. Netizens were also moved by his sincere emotions, and hoped that he could get out of the pain as soon as possible and start his life again. News focused the 726 recall was all rejected, and the social hatred and antagonism needed to be repaired urgently. Well-known director Wang Xiaodai expressed his willingness to apologize to the legislators who were serious about their work but were dismissed, and called on these legislators to show independent opinions, so that the party chairman and party whip understand that they are national representatives and should not only obey the party's will. She stressed that legislators should publicly state their views and take responsibility to promote healthy democracy and governance progress. Wang Xiaodai hopes that legislators can take this opportunity to reflect, so that the opposition party can truly grow healthily and help the country move forward. News focused during this year's Rhein-Ruhr-Universiade in Germany, Chinese members twice interfered with the congratulatory message when the Taiwanese players won medals, causing conflicts. When Taiwan's Tang's Haijun won the gold medal in the men's individual recurve bow archery, 2 Chinese personnel were videotaped and monitored when they issued a congratulatory message to the president, which dissatisfied the Taiwanese team. Sports director Zhang Shizhong wittily resolved and invited Chinese members to take pictures together, leaving the other party speechless, and finally bowed his head and left, successfully calming the tension. News focus the Meteorological Administration pointed out that due to the influence of the low-pressure zone and southwesterly winds, the rainfall in the central and southern regions will continue and expand today and tomorrow, and it is prone to short-term heavy rainfall, lightning strikes, and strong gusts. From Tuesday to Friday, there may be localized heavy rain in the mountainous areas south of Nantou and Chi. 2 other typhoons are active in the Pacific Ocean and have no direct impact on Taiwan at present. There will still be local thunderstorms in the afternoon in the next few days, so please pay attention to safety when going out. News focus the failure of the first wave of strikes triggered mutual accusations between the strike group and the Green Camp. CAO Xing Cheng, the leader of the strike, announced that he would abandon the 823 recall case, saying that the blue-green duel was not something he could bear. Vice President Xiao Maikan stressed that it should be reviewed and adjusted, and not give up pessimistically. The DPP did not clearly assume responsibility and was criticized by the outside world for cutting off responsibility. There are also voices of dissatisfaction within the party, questioning the lack of active mobilization of some factions. The Kuomintang criticized the Green Camp for ignoring public opinion and calling for the recall farce to end. News focus the Shaolin Temple confirmed on the 27th that he was suspected of misappropriating temple assets, violating Buddhist precepts, maintaining improper relationships with many women, and having illegitimate children, and is now undergoing a joint investigation by multiple departments. Shi Yongzhen joined the temple at a young age, promoted the commercialization of Shaolin Kung Fu and built a huge business, and was also involved in controversy many times. The rumor was finally officially confirmed, which aroused great concern from the outside world. News focus food safety expert Wen Chang'an pointed out that today's soft tofu mostly uses glucanolactone, GDL, as a coagulant, which can make the taste softer and more tender, but free radicals harmful to health may be produced in the process. He suggested that tofu should be heated before eating and avoid eating cold tofu directly to reduce the risk of chronic inflammation and other risks. Gypsum and salt brine coagulants used in the past, although natural and rich in minerals, have gradually been replaced. Wen Chang'an also reminded that many legally processed foods may not be healthy, and potential risks should be identified from labeling and ingredients. News focus chest physician Huang Xian reminded that some seemingly healthy foods are actually blood sugar bombs, including sugar-free drinks, whole grain foods, sandwiches, low-fat corn chips and glutinous corn. After processing, these foods can easily cause blood sugar to rise rapidly and increase the burden on the body. He suggested that choosing complete ingredients, pairing protein and vegetables, and controlling portion intake can effectively stabilize blood sugar and eat healthily. The key is to understand the glycemic properties of foods, not to avoid them entirely. News focus actress Lin Yuxuan cares about politics and supports the 726 recall action, and although it was unsuccessful in the end, she still posted on the community to encourage supporters. She revealed that she rushed to vote on the way to incense that day, firmly believing that the gods would protect Taiwan. After the results were released, she cried to her knees in front of Mizu, thanking the gods for catching her vulnerability, and said that although she was lonely at first, she believed that the strength would eventually unite her teammates. She also laughed at herself for buying dried mangoes as black humor and hoped that the future would be better. News focus the first wave of voting for the largest recall in Taiwan's history failed, including the failure of 24 Kuomintang legislators in Gao Honggan's recall. Singer Chen Sheng publicly stated at the concert that night, saying that even if Xi Jinping gave him 100 million yuan, he would not accept it, which triggered a warm response from the scene. He has emphasized in the past that he rejects the Chinese market, firmly believes that Taiwan's domestic demand is sufficient, and encourages his supporters to continue to believe in and stick to their ideals. News Focus. The well-known South Korean DJ Soda suffered severe hair loss due to a failed bleaching failure, with less than 10% of his hair left, and his body and mind were hit. She recently shared her recent situation on social platforms, admitting that being described as an abused puppy made her feel heartbroken. Soda emphasized that she never thought she would lose so much hair, and was disappointed that the designer did not apologize and asked her to delete the article, clarifying that she had not made a high claim. She thanked her fans for their concern and said she would work hard to get back on her feet. News Focus. Local drama actress Lee Yura sadly announced this morning that her eldest son, Niu, who suffered from the rare disease AADC, died in his sleep at the age of 15. Niu has been seriously ill since childhood, and was judged by doctors to only live to be 2 or 3 years old, and Lee Yura has not given up on her for many years and takes care of her wholeheartedly. She lamented on Facebook, "My son is gone, heaven can let him walk and run, I will love him forever." His son had a complicated condition during his lifetime, and he had pulmonary fibrosis due to difficulty eating, and finally failed to survive the disease. News Focus. Internet celebrity Ru Ying accused Wei Ruxuan, a Golden Song queen, of intervening in her relationship with her boyfriend Ian on the social platform Threads, and shared a number of screenshots of posts suspected to be related to Wei Ruxuan, expressing heartache and breakup declarations, triggering heated discussions among netizens and speculation about Wei Ruxuan's relationship with Ian, who is 21 years younger than her. Ru Ying deleted the article afterwards and clarified through the limited time story, saying that he was emotional, calling on the outside world to treat the parties well and saying that everything will be fine after communication. Wei Ruxuan's agent responded with respect for the clarification of the parties involved, calling for avoiding excessive speculation and protecting the artist's private domain. News Focus. The public welfare internet celebrity Bin Bingo recently had to rest a drip due to his serious physical condition, and returned to the live broadcast on the 25th, with 1.7 million views in 3.5 hours. He admitted that in the past year, he has worked hard to help others, and the pressure has led to the deterioration of many indicators of his body, and he is even facing the risk of acute explosive hepatitis. Bingo emphasized that the team shoulders social responsibility and is committed to transmitting positive energy, and expresses the hope that kindness can bring strength. He also humorously laughed at himself and was so pressured that he did not dare to speak casually, and solemnly called on those who had received assistance not to abuse financial aid, emphasizing that self-discipline is the only way to have a real life. News Focus. Recently, a discussion on Threads sparked heated discussions, and netizens took stock of boys with specific words in their names are most likely to cheat and shared the reasons. Boys with the word in their names crave freshness and excitement and are easily shaken by their feelings. The man with the word Wei is full of confidence and is easily attracted by praise. The word strong man is easy to escape when his feelings are frustrated and seeks solace from the outside world. Ming man calculates rationally and is easily attracted by challenges. The man with the word Hao pursues freedom and is emotionally unstable. The handsome man attracts attention because of his appearance, and there are many temptations, and it is difficult to concentrate. This topic has aroused resonance and discussion among many netizens. News Focus. U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick said the Trump administration will release the results of its national security investigation into semiconductor imports within 2 weeks and hinted at possible tariff increases. The survey is based on Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which aims to reduce dependence on imported chips and medicines. Trump stressed that some companies will increase investment in U.S. semiconductors to avoid the impact of tariffs, while a new EU-US trade agreement will impose a 15% tariff on imported goods. The Biden administration also encouraged the development of the domestic chip industry through the CHIPS Act, intending to reduce dependence on Taiwanese chips. News Focus. Trump announced at a Scottish golf resort on the 27th that the United States and the European Union had reached an important trade agreement to avoid a trade war. According to the agreement, the United States will impose a 15% benchmark tariff on European imports, including automobiles, maintaining the existing steel and aluminum tariffs. In exchange, the EU agreed to buy $750 billion worth of energy products from the United States. The agreement is one of Trump's recent trade agreements with many countries aimed at adjusting the global trade order, and both sides believe that it will have a positive impact on trade relations and expect fairer and smoother trade in the future. News Focus. British Defence Secretary Healey stressed in Australia on the 27th that if a conflict breaks out in the Taiwan Strait, the UK is ready to fight in the Pacific region and show a tough stance. At that time, he and Australian Deputy Prime Minister Murley said on the British aircraft carrier Prince of Wales that Britain and Australia would strengthen their preparations through joint exercises and fight side by side to deter China's military threat. Healey stressed that peace depends on strength, and strength comes from the support of allies. The UK has been deploying warships in the Indo-Pacific for a long time, and the aircraft carrier will be close to Taiwan's waters in the future, raising international concern, reflecting the intensification of regional security tensions. News Focus Hong Kong female singer Yan Chukian, who was a smash hit in the 1980s, became popular with her voice resembling Anita Mui, and in 1988, Late Night Harbor became a classic Jade Girl idol. Later, in order to break through her image, she transformed into a sexy route and took on tertiary films, during which she experienced emotional depression and drug addiction. After giving birth to a child out of wedlock in 2001, she faded out of the entertainment industry and lived a low-key and peaceful life. Recently, Yan Chukian was in good condition and was shared by fans to celebrate her birthday, which amazed netizens that she was still young and energetic. She attended Anita Mui's Friends Dinner in 2023, occasionally gathered with friends in the circle, and turned her life to Buddhism and family, pursuing peace of mind. News Focus: The first wave of 24 Kuomintang legislators was not passed, and DPP Secretary General Lin Yusheng said on Facebook 2 days after the recall results were announced that as the Secretary General of the ruling party, he would take all responsibility and had resigned from party chairman Lai King. He thanked the volunteers of the recall team for their selflessness and courage, emphasized that we should not make excuses now, but seek a way out for Taiwan's future, and called on everyone to continue to protect this challenging country. News Focus: Microwaves are convenient and fast, but not all foods are suitable for heating. Grape heating is prone to flame explosion, the internal pressure of the whole raw egg is high and easy to burst, and processed meat such as bacon will produce harmful substances. Carrots and salty processed products may cause arcing. Breast milk and infant formula are easy to form high-temperature hot spots when heated, so it is not recommended to use microwave ovens. Uneven heating of raw meat poses a food safety risk, and it is necessary to confirm that the core temperature is above 74 degrees. Heating with water may cause boiling and burning, and the sauce and soup are easy to splash, so it is recommended to heat and stir instead. Experts remind that food characteristics should be understood, dangers should be avoided, and food safety should be ensured. News Focus: Zhang Jingwen, screen name Liang Jingjing Wenzi, a student of Shandong University, actively fights cancer due to advanced stomach cancer, insists on learning and sharing positive energy in the hospital bed, touching many netizens. She enrolled in the fall of 2023, developed abdominal pain in November, and was diagnosed with advanced stomach cancer in January 2024. Despite many critical illness notices, she still bravely faced her illness and continued to study and live. However, the family announced on July 25 that Zhang Jingwen passed away on June 26, 2025 at the age of 20 after failing to fight cancer, and the news made fans grieve. News Focus: Artist Su Ziwan died of influenza and pneumonia in February this year, shocking Taiwan. Recently, when some netizens took guests to the Big S cemetery to offer flowers, they happened to meet her husband Gu Junyi sitting alone in the center of Jinbeihan Cemetery, looking lonely, wearing a black vest and peaked hat, which was distressing. It is reported that Gu Junyi waits at the cemetery almost every day regardless of the weather, and still cordially thanks visitors to the audience. After the relevant pictures circulated, Korean netizens expressed their heartache and regret, lamenting that the two loved each other but were briefly separated, hoping that he could spend his grief safely. News Focus: Halfway through 2025, horoscope expert Bai Yu reminded each constellation of the fortune and luck method for the second half of the year. Fire signs, Aries, Lion, Sagittarius, have many challenges in the first half of the year, high career pressure, and can develop freely in the second half of the year. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, need to pay attention to interpersonal relationships, avoid easy commitments, learn more new skills and travel, and wear blue and white to help regulate the body and mind. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, focus on emotional management and financial planning, and it is recommended to maintain a stable mood and wear pink and blue to bring good luck. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, should deepen professionalism and financial management, wear brown and green to help stability, and relieve stress through fragrance massage. News Focus: Among the three major weighted stocks in Taiwan, stocks in early trading, TSMC and Hon Hai rose steadily, while Mediatek fell below the short-term moving average in a row, and the overall market fluctuated. Formosa Plastics Group performed strongly, with South Asia, Taiwan Chemical and other stock prices rising, and South Asia's stock prices hitting a recent high. Formosa Plastics Group actively promotes scientific and technological transformation, investing in the field of semiconductors and AI. Formosa Plastics invests 58.5 billion yuan. Formosa Plastics applies generative AI to improve operations, and Formosa Plastics transforms coal-fired power plants to natural gas, which is expected to be completed in 2029. Nanya has become the focus of the group's turnaround due to its mastery of key raw materials, and is driven by the global material rush. Taiwan's profit declined in the second quarter, but it is expected to pick up in the third quarter, while Nandian benefited from the steady demand for carrier boards, and revenue is expected to continue to grow. News Focus: Samsung Electronics announced that it has signed a long-term chip foundry contract with Tesla for 22.8 trillion won, about $16.5 billion, until 2033, incentivizing its stock price to rise 3.5%. Samsung's foundry market share has declined in recent years, still lagging behind TSMC, which has major customers such as Apple and Nvidia. Analysis pointed out that this order will help Samsung's 2nm process recover, with annual revenue expected to increase by 10% and may lead to more cooperation, but the yield rate still needs to be improved, and the order may not use the most advanced technology. Samsung's new factory in Texas may be affected because it has not yet acquired large customers. News focus: in June this year, rents and residential maintenance costs in Taiwan hit record highs, increasing the pressure on renters. According to the Consumer Price Index of the Comptroller General's Office, the residential index reached 109.31, of which the rent index was 108.8 and the residential maintenance index was 114.17, both of which reached new highs. The implementation of decoration costs and hoarding tax 2.0 has prompted underground landlords to declare income tax. Holding costs have increased, and landlords tend to increase rents. In addition, the hydropower and gas index jumped to 118.71 in June, and continued to rise due to the impact of summer electricity prices and international oil prices. Mortgage interest rates have risen to a nearly 15-year high, charter renters have raised rents to maintain income, and the overall housing burden has continued to rise. News focus: Choi Yeon-so, the daughter of South Korean star chef Choi Hyun-suk, will marry Kim Tae-hyun, the lead singer of the band Dick Punks, who is 12 years older than her, at the end of September. Kui Yangziu participated in the talent show Produce 48 and is already well known in Taiwan. The two became acquainted through music, overcame the age gap, and had a stable relationship. She made the good news public on IG, thanking everyone for their blessings and asking the outside world to look at them with warm eyes. This romance is seen as a successful example of fans falling in love with idols and is attracting much attention. News focus: senior media person Chen Wenkin was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma last year and continues to actively treat and share her life in the community. Recently, she watched the 15th anniversary film of World Weekly, and was so emotional that she cried, praying that God would give her a body that could move for at least half a year, so that she could go to the place where she could think about interviews and fulfill her dream. She emphasized that she did not want to end her life in a hospital bed, and the flame of chasing her dreams was still burning in her heart. Netizens sent blessings and encouragement, hoping that she could face her illness strongly and realize her wishes. News focus: the first wave of 726 recall elections came to an end, and the recall of 24 Kuomintang legislators accused of being pro-China and Hsinchu Mayor Gao Honggan failed, and the congressional map remained unchanged. The British newspaper The Guardian said that this action reflects the challenge of Taiwan's democracy facing internal political divisions and external pressures, and international experts have called for consensus. The Associated Press pointed out that the recall caused disagreements due to the Kuomintang's obstruction of the defense budget and pro-China stance, but the failure of the recall made it difficult for the DPP to regain control of Congress, and the political setback was obvious. Reuters reported that Beijing expressed its stance on the recall, and the Kuomintang emphasized that exchanges with China are pragmatic and counter-criticized the recall as political retaliation. The overall results highlight the ongoing impact of Taiwan's political and social divisions and cross-strait tensions. News focus: the Meteorological Administration issued a heavy rain disaster prevention warning for the mountainous areas of Tainan, Chi, and Pingtung today, 28th, and the cumulative rainfall in Liujiao Township, Chi reached the highest of 343.5 millimeters. Chi County, Yunlin Shuolin Township and Haobi District in Tainan announced the suspension of work and classes today. Expert Wu Durong reminded that before August 3, the central and southern regions were affected by the southwest monsoon, and it was rainy for several days and there was a risk of severe weather. There is no chance of invading Taiwan in the light platform bamboo grass and in the middle platform Chorisa, and the eastern half has less impact and the weather is sultry. News focus: the largest recall in history promoted by the DPP was rejected in 726 votes. And Japanese scholar Ogasawara believes that the Green Camp's advantage since the 2014 sunflower movement may be over. Kuomintang legislator Xia Longzhi pointed out that the 2024 election situation has put Lai King under pressure, and in order to prepare for the 2028 presidential election, he is concentrating power within the party, purging factions and locking in the county mayoral election to nominate his own people, striving to win more than half of the votes. Xia Longzhi criticized Lai King for cutting the black gold image as a show, ineffective in investigating some cases, and consolidating his position through internal rectification, making it difficult for dissidents within the party to challenge his authority. News focus: the first wave of the largest recall in Taiwan's history was all unpassed, and the recall of 24 Kuomintang legislators and Hsinchu Mayor Gao Honggan was rejected. When singer Chen Sheng started singing at the Red House in Ximending on the evening of the 26th, he criticized Chinese President Xi Jinping for the result of the recall, saying, "I don't want to go even if Xi comes with 100 million yuan." Chen Sheng has publicly blocked the Chinese market in the past, emphasizing that Taiwan's domestic demand is sufficient, and his remarks aroused enthusiastic responses from fans at the scene, and also resonated with netizens who supported the recall, saying that his words and music bring strength. News Focus: the Ministry of Finance is expected to issue the first wave of comprehensive income tax refunds in 113 on July 31, covering 3.62 million tax refund cases, with an amount of up to 58.5 billion yuan, a record high. The total tax refund this year is about 70.7 billion yuan, an increase of 11.7 billion yuan over last year. The IRS reminds that people who choose the direct transfer tax refund will remit money directly, and those who do not use the direct transfer will receive a tax refund voucher, which must be redeemed before the end of September. Voucher amounts of less than 5,000 yuan can be cashed at designated banks, more than 5,000 yuan must be deposited into the account, and vouchers above 20,000 yuan are prohibited from endorsement and transfer. News Focus: a man in Dalian, China, was diagnosed with facial nerve paralysis, after blowing a fan directly into his face for a long time while sleeping at high temperatures, and the next day he developed symptoms such as drooping corners of his mouth and inability to move his face. Doctors pointed out that electric fans should not blow directly on nerve-dense areas such as the head or face for a long time, which may cause local vasoconstriction and cause nerve disorders. It is recommended to use the head swing mode, weaken the wind force, avoid the wind blowing directly in the same place, or turn the wind direction towards the wall to reflect to reduce direct stimulation. If symptoms such as crooked mouth and slurred speech occur, you should seek medical attention as soon as possible to avoid permanent injury. News Focus: the Taipei Municipal Health Bureau sampled 30 foods susceptible to mold contamination and found that 3 peanut products exceeded the aflatoxin standard, including the well-known souvenir Shinchu Fuyu and granular peanut butter. The content of aflatoxin B1 in this product reached 4.3 μg/kg, exceeding the standard by 2 μg/kg, and the total aflatoxin also exceeded the standard. The other 2 peanut powder products also exceeded the standard, and the operator has been notified to remove them from the shelves and transferred them to the relevant county and city health bureaus for handling. Violators will be fined 30,000 yuan to 3 million yuan in accordance with the food safety law. Consumers should pay attention to food safety and avoid consuming products in question. News Focus: due to the influence of low pressure zone and southwest winds, heavy rainfall in Jingliao, Haobi District, Tainan, caused accumulated rainfall of more than 350 mm, and the flooding was waist deep, causing severe damage. Residents couldn't move sandbags in time, and light objects such as buckets and toys floated on the water, locomotives fell to the ground, and half of the car was submerged. The drainage system could not drain the stagnant water, and the community became a vast ocean, and residents went out on foot, and their lives were seriously hindered. The rain has continued since the early morning, with flooding of more than 50 centimeters, and the disaster continues to expand, leaving residents feeling helpless and helpless. News Focus: the Kuomintang is expected to launch the re-election of the party chairman this week. Zhu Lailun is determined not to be re-elected. Taichung Mayor Liu Zihuan has not announced his candidacy, and there are rumors within the party that some people have persuaded former President Ma Ying-jeou to return to the pot, but legislator Su Qiaoxin called it gossip, and Xiao Susan, CEO of the Ma Ying-jeou Foundation, confirmed that he had persuaded but Ma had no intention of running. During the recall battle, former Legislative Yuan President Wang Jinping specifically told New Taipei City Mayor Hou Yuyi to keep Yunzi's seat, and Hou Yuyi said that both sides were concerned about the situation within the party. In the end, all 24 Kuomintang legislators were retained, indicating that big names played a key role in building momentum. News Focus: Typhoon Nanus hit southern Taiwan hard, and garbage piled up after the disaster in the saltwater area of Tainan. YouTuber Chen Guigi filmed a video showing the current situation at that time, causing some viewers to question the government's ineffective cleanup. Tainan Mayor Huang Weige responded that the day of filming was the peak of people cleaning up their homes, and the garbage was removed the next day, emphasizing that the cleaning team worked hard day and night, and called on the outside world not to ignore their efforts. Chen Guigi replied that he did not blame the cleaning team, and the original intention of the film was to reflect the actual situation, and reminded the mayor to pay attention to the true situation of the message content. News Focus: Kaohsiung Liugui's Nabun Choir recently went to Japan to participate in the Tokyo International Choir Competition, and was pressured by China to withdraw the national flag and change its name to Chinese Taipei. Despite the suppression, the Nabun Choir won the gold medal in the folk song group with a high score of 95.9, and Kaohsiung Mayor Chen Kamai and DPP legislator Chu Yiying both expressed their congratulations and affirmations, praising the children's efforts and strength. At the same time, the Buletin Drum Ralph Children's Art Troupe of Dawen District Xing China Primary School also won the gold award in the folk song group and the silver award for the children's chorus under the age of 13, showing the excellent performance of the Taiwanese choir on the international stage. News Focus: a 57-year-old chairman of an engineering company in Hsinchu went missing while picking up stones at the mouth of Jialeshui Port Creek in Pingtung, and after his family reported the case, the fire department, Coast Guard, and multiple rescue units launched a 4-day large-scale search and rescue, mobilizing a number of resources including fire trucks, lifeboats, drones and helicopters, but the missing person has not been found. The family burned incense and prayed for a miracle, but finally reluctantly agreed to end the search and rescue. The fire department said the search and rescue operation would come to an end unless new evidence is available. News focus: a chain Angelica duck noodle shop in Zhouying, Kaohsiung, was photographed by the public gnawing on whole duck meat placed in the kitchen sink, and the exposure of the video sparked heated discussions. The Kaohsiung Municipal Health Bureau inspected immediately after receiving the report, and the industry admitted that the video was true, violating the Food Safety and Sanitation Management Law and the Kaohsiung City Public Dining Establishment Hygiene Management Measures, and would be fined more than 30,000 yuan and less than 3 million yuan in accordance with regulations. The Health Bureau reminds catering operators to strengthen rodent prevention measures, implement environmental improvement and food waste management to prevent the breeding of vectors and protect food safety and consumer health. News focus: an old man in his 70s in Taichung City was found dead in the water tower of the community building last night, suspected of falling to his death for unknown reasons after climbing a long white iron ladder for maintenance. After receiving the report, the police worked with special search and forensic personnel to hoist the body and confirmed that it was obviously dead. The old man left a letter before his death, and was reported by relatives and friends for missing contact. The case caused panic among community residents, who discussed whether the water quality was abnormal recently. The police are further investigating the cause of death and clarifying the truth of the case. News focus: after the end of the 726 recall action, the society is still highly concerned about the issue. Taiwanese tennis star Xie Shuwei issued an appeal on the evening of the 27th, saying that in the face of different ideas and positions, respect and understanding should be maintained, emphasizing that freedom is not a weapon used to hurt people. The post quickly aroused enthusiastic responses from netizens, attracting more than 7,000 likes and comments in just half an hour, with most netizens praising its gentleness and rationality and high level of civic literacy. Although a few opinions questioned the timing, the overall comment area was positive, believing that she showed the positive influence of athletes on social issues. News focus: Tata Consultancy, TCS, India's largest IT service provider, announced that it will lay off about 2% of its staff in fiscal year 2026, affecting about 12,200 middle and senior management, the largest adjustment in recent years. In response to generative AI, automation, and customer needs, TCS is reshaping its organization, streamlining its structure, speeding up decision-making processes, and promoting internal talent reskilling and job transitions, CEO Kishanan pointed out. Despite the layoffs, the company will continue to expand recruitment in the fields of engineering, AI, and data science. TCS currently employs more than 600,000 people and is India's IT export leader. News focus: a job seeker stated in his resume that he had sex with his boss, causing outrage among netizens and questioning the platform's review mechanism. After the incident was exposed, it triggered discussions on the content review of job search platforms and gender and ethics issues in the workplace. The platform has not yet made an official response to the incident. News focus: Taiwan Water Supply Company will implement zoned water outage and pressure reduction measures in parts of 7 counties and cities, including Keelung, New Taipei, Yunlin, Chi, Tainan, Pingtung, and Taitung, starting today, 28th. The water outage will last for as little as a few hours and as long as August 4th, and the affected areas include Bangqiao, Dujin, Yunlin Doliu, Chi City, and some townships in the county, as well as many districts in Tainan, Juru, and Nanzhou in Pingtung, and Donghe in Taitung. Water companies remind affected users to store water as soon as possible and pay attention to follow-up announcements to deal with unstable or interrupted water supply.